Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of When Sheila Wants to Cook for You. Here's what you do. I'm Moore. Listen, we're in like Lower Manhattan. This is the first time I believe I've been in Lower Manhattan. And we got my man Marco on the show. Marco, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for being on. Listen, Marco's another one of Elaine's finds. You know, Elaine goes out and finds the best talent. It's not easy, but she found Marco, and he's going to throw down today. Listen, what are you going to cook for us?
Today I'm making Sunday sauce.
Okay.
One of my favorite Italian dishes.
Okay.
I love to cook. It's my passion, and you know, Italian cuisine is definitely my go-to. Yeah. That's what I love.
Listen, it's already smelling. I mean, he has the garlic, he has the meat here. Nothing's cooked, but for some reason it's smelling good. So I know this is going to be slamming. And everybody knows who watches the show that I'm mega greedy. I got a weight problem. I can't wait to eat. So Marco is about to do his thing. When Sheila wants to cook for you, Marco,
it's what you do.
Today, boom, it's what you do.
It's what you do. Thank you.
Knock it out the park. We'll be right back.
Good. Alright guys, Marcus again, thank you for having me on the show. So I'm just going to go through step by step, you know, just showing the different cuts of meat that we have today. You know, our ingredients, everything we're going to be using for this beautiful sauce. Shout out to the Meat Hook in Williamsburg, Brooklyn for blessing us with these beautiful cuts of meat that we have here. So we got some beef short ribs, we got some veal shanks, some country pork ribs, and some sweet and hot Italian sausages. And this is our meatball mix here that I prepared yesterday. So yeah, I'm gonna start off by dicing my onions and slicing my garlic. I like to have everything prepared first before I start cooking, because I don't want to, you know, have to be cutting and I have something on the stove. We don't want to risk anything from burning or not going the right way. So I'm just gonna start off dicing my onions.
So how many onions are you going to use for this meal?
I'm using 3 small onions.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And what exactly is the onions and carrots for?
So the carrot's a secret. Like anyone in Italian cooking knows, you know, you don't put sugar in your sauce. You could use a carrot, you know, it cuts down the acidity. So, you know, usually people that are not too fond of tomato sauce gives them heartburn. So that helps a little bit. You know, Goodfellas, they tell Vinny to use three onions in the sauce. Well, they tell me it's too much, so I'm using 3 small onions.
Can you use a red onion?
You could, but I like to use, you know,
White?
Yeah, the regular Spanish yellow onions. So I'm just gonna dice these, you know, kind of small, so, you know, they break up in the sauce. We don't have too many big chunks of onions in the sauce.
So what inspires you to cook? When did you start learning?
So, as a kid, I used to see my mother in the kitchen all the time, so it kind of built up that curiosity, you know. So, ever since a kid, I guess I saw that passion growing. Like, I love to cook. So, and I went to culinary school. I'm a graduate of Johnson & Wales in Providence, Rhode Island. So, yeah, that definitely inspired me to go to like culinary school and get to where I'm at again. I worked in a lot of like, you know, different restaurants.
So where are you currently working now?
So right now I work at Best Pizza, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm one of the chef and one of the managers there. I'm in charge of our 800 Grand Street location in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
So tell me more about that pizza place. I have never been, so is it really that great?
Yeah,
The best pizza, it says?
it's called Best Pizza. We have a 120-year-old wood-fired oven. Yeah, we make a fresh mozzarella. Everything's fresh there. We use the best ingredients. You know, we do everything with love. So I don't know if y'all hear that little noise in the background. That's Missy over there running around. It's my friend's David's dog. So right now I'm gonna dice up my onions. I'm just getting all my mise en place together. You know, I like to have everything in place and everything organized before I start cooking. That's one thing I definitely learned in culinary school, to get everything together before you start cooking. So I don't know if you guys know, but tonight we got Game 7 at the Garden. The Knicks are in trouble. We got to get this win. If we want to make it if we want to go to the Eastern Conference and face Boston. The Yankees are doing real good right now. So I like to do like small little dice cuts like this because I don't like big chunks of onions in my sauce.
So about them Yankees, you think they're gonna sign Soto?
Hell yeah, we got this. Yeah, the Yankees are doing real good right now. We killing it right now.
As you rock your fitted.
Yeah, I gotta represent. I'm a Yankee fan. I mean, I was born in Manhattan, but I was raised in Brooklyn. But we all know, usually the only Mets fans is people from Queens and Long Island, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a Yankee fan, die hard to the core. I live in the Bronx right now. I'm in Riverdale, beautiful area. So what I'm doing is the claw method. That's something they teach you in culinary school. You know, so you don't cut your fingers. You want to keep the thumb back and your fingers like this. So yeah, I used to love watching my mother in the kitchen as a kid. Everybody loved her pork shoulder, her pernil, so that's what she was known for. And that just inspired me to, that built up the curiosity to want to cook.
And what made you choose Johnson & Wales from any other culinary school?
That's a good question. So I had a little rough upbringing. I used to get myself into trouble when I was young. I'm kind of a success story. So when I was 15, I got into a little bit of trouble, and I was sent to a residential program. So there, it was kind of like a job call, just to straighten me out. And I met the chef there. His name was Chef Chad. He saw the passion in me, I guess, and I used to work with him in the kitchen. That was one of my first jobs there. And he just saw that I had that passion in me, that I just loved being in the kitchen. So he definitely recommended. He pushed me. Like, he helped me get my grades up and, get my high school diploma and get into Johnson & Wales. The job code was all the way up there in Boston, Massachusetts. So, Boston is right next to Rhode Island. So that was like the closest school. And there I learned a lot, and I was able to be where I'm at now. I graduated from there. I got my associates. And one of my first internships was for Norwegian Cruise Lines. I used to cook on the galleys on the ship. So I did a 6 months contract with them. I was all the way in Hawaii. Working on cruise ships is fun because it's like being in the military, kind of like the Navy, the way it's set up. So you gotta be on board for 6 months. And then you come home and you get a whole month vacation. But I definitely got to travel and, see Hawaii. That was definitely one of my dreams.
So how are the living conditions on cruise ships? Because I hear they're really difficult.
Nah, it's great. It's like being in college. You get a dorm, you share with like 2 other people. When the ship docks, you get to go on land and go to the beach, go out. We used to have a lot of fun.
You must have met a lot of tourists.
I did a lot of tourists, a lot of celebrities used to come on board when the ship hits the dock. You meet people from all over the world. It's definitely a great experience. Yeah. So I got my onions diced up. I'm just gonna set these aside and put them in a bowl. Just gonna put these in a bowl for now. I like to have everything in, just set up in place, so we got everything together,
That's a nice knife you have.
Thank you.
Is that like a specialty knife or something?
I got this on Amazon. It's like $20 is on sale. But it definitely does the job. It cuts, so that's what we need. We don't want a dull knife. I don't want to be struggling with anything. You know what I'm saying? So. All right, so I got that. I got my onions. I'm gonna slice my garlic. Get that out of the way. I like to clean as I go, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing they teach you in culinary school. Clean as you go, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have a big mess at the end and we're left with all these dishes to do, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't bring a razor blade today, so I got a garlic slicer. So in Goodfellas, Paulie uses a razor blade to slice the garlic real thin so it liquefies in the pan with a little bit of oil. Yeah, I definitely came prepared today, so. I'm doing this right.
And where can you get that garlic slicer from?
I got everything on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon's my best friend. Whenever I need something, I go on Amazon. Yeah, definitely doing like these. I like these slice. I like my garlic sliced. I think it looks good in the sauce. So. So I'm just going with about four or five cloves of garlic. Yeah.
So I guess you can't go wrong with garlic, huh?
No, that's garlic. I love garlic. It just makes everything taste good.
That's also nice, so that way your hands aren't touching.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Your hands don't smell like garlic. Struggle with this. Yeah, so after I'm done just setting up all my mise en place, I'm gonna start searing off the meats. So that's what's gonna give us the depth and flavor to the sauce, is that beautiful fond that we're gonna build on the bottom of the pot. And we're gonna deglaze that with some wine, throw in our tomatoes, our beef stock, let that simmer on the stove. It's gonna be good. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now that we got everything set up, we're gonna start searing off our meats. We'll be right back. So right now I'm just gonna salt and pepper my meat. I know you guys probably thinking, just salt and pepper, but with all the garlic and the onions and everything, it's all gonna come together. So definitely, this is gonna be really good. Definitely want to, be sure to get all the corners and the sides, We're gonna see this off. gonna see this in the rondo, and it's definitely gonna, you know, build a beautiful, nice farm, you know. And it's gonna give our meat a nice crust too when we brown it. Don't worry, I'll wash my hands and I'm gonna wash them again. So don't worry. So I'm just hitting everything with a good generous amount of salt and pepper. Definitely, it's all gonna come together. Good, nice rustic sauce. So right now I'm gonna start seeing off the meats. I'm gonna put a nice generous amount of olive oil in my pot. I don't measure anything. I just go with the flow. When you cook with love. You do it from the heart. We don't measure anything. Now, you know, in the restaurant, you want to be consistent. You want that meal to come out exactly the same, the way it came out the first time. So you want to use measurements. But here, I'm just heating up the pot. I want to get this scorching hot. I'm not going to drop the meat until I see smoke coming out. We're going to get it real hot. We're going to get a nice sear on the meat.
And why is it that you don't use measurements? Do all chefs use measurements, or is it important to use measurements?
Yeah, it is important to use measurements because you want that meal to be consistent. You don't want to go to the restaurant the first time and, oh my God, it's the best meal I've ever had, and then you go back the next time and you have it again and it's not the same way you had it the first time. You know? That's why it's very important to use measurements in the food industry. Restaurants. Definitely, like a lot of restaurants, they'll keep a nice recipe book in the back with all the secrets to cut. Yeah, so I'm just letting this heat up. You know, I'll put a nice generous amount of olive oil. So I'm just gonna let it get hot, and I'm gonna start seeing off on it. We just wanna, we're not cooking it all the way. We're just searing it. We're browning the meat, building a nice crust, which is gonna form a nice fond on the bottom of the pot. And we're gonna saute our onions and garlic, you know. And we're gonna deglaze that with some wine, and that's what's gonna build the flavor and the depth to the sauce. It definitely takes time, you know, but you know, patience, and we shall be rewarded at the end. So we finished searing off the beef, the pork, the veal. Now I'm gonna just go on with my sausages. So we got these beautiful sweet and hot Italian sausages from the Meat Hook in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So we just want to sear these and brown these off too.
Now, question, Margo, are these meats just to flavor, or they're going to be in the sauce?
They're going in the sauce. This is gonna simmer and braise in the tomato sauce, and it's gonna be falling off the bowl nice and tender. It's gonna be crazy. Like, served over the pasta. Yeah, I'm gonna have y'all licking your fingers. Yeah. So I'm just seeing, this is the last stage of the sausages. After that, we're gonna saute our onions and garlic, and deglaze with the wine, and go on with the tomatoes, and then just let that braise for about 2-3 hours. So with some pop or anything. I think that's a good temperature right there. Definitely got some beautiful fond going on the bottom of the pot. I'm just going to step back a little bit. So I got like about a half a pound of each for the sweet and the hot sauce. They're not too spicy, they just season it with a little bit of like garlic, fennel, and chili flakes. And they make their sausages in-house. They're made at the butcher shop. They make it themselves. So I love stuff like that. We went all out. We didn't just get the premios that are sitting in the supermarket on the rack. We got the good stuff. Definitely got some nice browning going on in the sauce. Kind of ran out of a little room on my cooling rack, but it's alright. It's all going back in the pot anyway, so it don't matter. Sausage is definitely looking good. Got a nice color on these. Definitely looking good. This is one of brownies, that's all. We're gonna finish in it. All this meat is gonna finish in the sauce. We got meatballs going in here too, so. You gotta have the sausage and the meatballs in it, that's what makes it. Thank you guys for coming, for having me on the show. It's an honor, for real. I really appreciate that. The sausage is almost done. We'll start taking these out and then we're gonna start browning our onions and garlic. Alright, we're back, y'all. So now that we're done searing up all our meats, we're gonna go in with our onions. We're gonna start off our onions. I got my wooden spoon. You know, if you're making tomato sauce, you gotta have a wooden spoon. So I know you're probably thinking, nah, that's a lot of fat, but it's not. That's all the flavor that you know that rendered. That's all the flavor that rendered from the meat. So you definitely want to keep that in there. So I'm just gonna go on with my onions. We just wanna, you know, saute these for about a good 5 to 10 minutes, just so they get soft and translucent. Onions. So I'll show you a trick to get us there faster. You want to salt your onions, have some sweat. So always salt your onions. You know? I'm just gonna turn the temperature up a little higher. You'll know when they're almost like see-through, they're translucent, you can see right through them. That's how you know they're ready. Sweat. The onions are definitely picking up a lot of that flavor too, you know, from the bottom of the pot. The fond that we do. We're gonna soak all that up with the wine. We'll deglaze it with the wines. Nice bottle Chianti that we're gonna be glazing this with. Like I said, I like to keep it traditional. I don't cut corners. So we're doing everything by the book. We're just gonna give these onions about like 5-10 minutes. The onions definitely gonna give this nice sweetness to it. see they're definitely starting to, the onions definitely starting to sweat off. Now you don't want to drop your garlic until those onions are ready. You don't want to risk the garlic from burning, you know? These onions are definitely looking good and smoking. Got this like on a medium heat, not too high. We see the onions starting to get soft.
So the garlic goes directly into the sauce, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna saute the garlic too. Once the onions are ready,
Okay.
we're gonna throw the garlic in. I like slicing my garlic, like thin slices. I think it looks nice in the sauce. When it all comes together.
Now in Goodfellas, I know you're a big Goodfellas fan because
That's my favorite movie.
and there's a scene where he goes, the garlic liquefies, and is that real or is that just something that?
That's total bullshit.
Okay.
If you were to slice garlic really thin and throw it in the pot, it would just burn. There's no way.
But you have to admit, he made that sound so cool. It liquefies in the. And that scene where he's cutting the garlic with a razor blade with his very fine manicured nails while he sits in prison was a classic scene.
I mean, when you're in prison, that's all you got available. There's no knives in there.
Yeah,
You have to use a razor blade. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, our onions are almost there. You see them. They're starting to get soft. When your spoon could go right through them, that's how you know, and you can see right through them, that's how you know when they're ready. The salt definitely helps us get there faster, you know? Always want to salt your onions so they can sweat.
Well, for how long you been making this particular meal?
For a few years now.
Okay.
I mean, Goodfellas definitely had something to do with it, because that prison scene definitely, when they're making that sauce, it's like, damn, I gotta try that. I want to make that one day.
They had the veal, but they mentioned, I remember him mentioning how important the pork is.
Yeah, definitely.
Pork brings out the flavor. I think that's what he said, yeah.
Just watched Goodfellas the other night.
Did you? Okay.
I love a brown silk.
Okay.
I just love that quote.
Yeah.
The worst thing in life is wasted talent. Onions are looking good. Like another minute, and we can throw in the garlic. Just gonna turn it down a little bit.
So none of this meat is Stop and Shop. You went to the real butcher and got
Oh,
the.
yeah, it's the real deal right here.
We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we don't stop and shop. We didn't get this off the rack.
Okay.
In the back of the meat department. We went to the butcher. He cut this for me. So I'm going with my garlic now. My onions are ready. It's about 4 or 5 cloves. Not too much. Like I said, I eyeball everything. I think about that much is perfect. Just gonna saute this a little bit. I'm gonna season it with a little bit of chili flakes. Nothing crazy. It's just gonna give the sauce a little kick. It's not gonna be too spicy. I think about right there is good. Remember, we got a big can of tomatoes, so.
So just enough so that it doesn't get lost in the flavor, but give you a little bit of tiny kick.
Little home, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once the onions are ready, I'm gonna deglaze this with the wine.
This really makes no sense how good it smells. Wow.
Throw a couple of leaves of basil in there too. We say throw your fresh herbs, you're gonna throw them in at the end, but I like how it releases those oils.
Yeah.
And it gives it a nice flavor. You know? When you're in your kitchen, you do what you want. You know what I'm saying? It's your rules. I'm gonna go a little high now. So we're gonna hit it with the wine. The wine. I'm just gonna deglaze this for like about like 2 cups. I love hearing that sound. That not that much is good. We're gonna let the wine cook down. We're gonna let that reduce. Just wanna cook off the alcohol. You know, we just want the flavor from the wine. Got some nice Chianti that we deglazed this with.
Now, of course, it has to be red wine, right?
Yeah, it has to be red wine.
Okay.
Pairs well with the meat, you know. Alright, so my wine has reduced. I'm gonna go in with the tomatoes now. So we got this beautiful can of Alta Cucina tomatoes that my job provided me with. Shout out to Hugo and Frank. Thank you guys for supporting me and helping me out.
Yeah, Marco, let's talk more about your job. Like, I want to hear about, I mean, I read up on the place, but I want to know more about it.
So, Frank he's also he's a well-renowned chef.
So Frank cooks?
Yeah, he went to culinary school as well.
Okay.
He comes from a deep Sicilian background.
Nice.
He loves food. You know, he started in a way, you know, he's very family orientated. You know, the same way he came up, he talks a lot about his family and how his grandmother, you know, inspired him to be a cook. You know, you know, an Italian family, you know, they're big on, you know, they're very family oriented.
Yeah, definitely.
They're serious about that. I love just the old school, like the way of thinking and, you know, the way they are.
Yeah.
And the way they are with food, you know.
So, as far as location-wise, like if I wanted to meet Frank, where location is he at?
He's hard to get into.
Okay.
You know, with the show and everything that he has.
Okay.
You know, all the consulting. So, but he pops in the shop here and there.
Nice.
What are your locations?
So right now we have about 4 spots. We have the main place, of course. The mothership is 33 Havelmeyer in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. We also got another spot on 800 Grand Street, which is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Best Pizza's been around for about 14 years now, since 2010. Our Grand Street location's been open a year now. You know, that's where I'm at. You guys can find me there Mondays and Tuesdays. Frank, you know, he was nice enough to leave me there and let me be in charge of that spot.
Well, shout out
I've been
to
working
Frank.
for Best Pizza for 8 years now. You know? And Frank, he's just been like a big brother to me, you know. He looks out for me, he's helped me out. He definitely saw the passion and love that I have for food, you know. And I just love working there. We're just one big family, like, you know. We all get along. We do holiday parties, you know.
So it's safe to say you enjoy your job.
I love my job. Yeah.
That's what's
to me,
up.
it's not a job. It's like I'm hanging out with my friends all day, and we're doing what we love. We're cooking.
It gets no better than
It
that.
don't get no better. It sucks when you go to a job, to a workplace, and there's a lot of animosity. You know, people don't get along. We all get along there. You know, we have fun. We do what we love, and we have fun with it. Yeah, but definitely, Las Pizza's definitely,
So if I walk in there, what do you recommend? I mean, that pizza sounds really
you gotta
good.
try we're known for the grandma slice
Oh, really?
and the white slice. Yeah, the white slice is like no other white slice in New York. Usually you walk into a pizzeria and you order a white slice, it's just ricotta, garlic, and mozzarella. We take it up a notch. Like we put caramelized onions on it that we cook on the stove for about like 8 hours.
Well, I did do my homework on you guys, as I do my homework on everything.
We put sesame seeds on the crust.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys are real deal. As I said, I did do my homework on you guys. So, yeah.
The grandma slice is really good. That's definitely one of Frank's recipes. Something that he came up with, you know.
Okay.
That he grew up with, you know, that he got from his family. The sauce is really good. Like it's like so it's hand crushed from tomatoes that we season with garlic, you know, oregano.
Now, this is not a secret sauce, is it?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, you could say much, but not too much.
Exactly.
Now we do put a little anchovy in the grandma sauce,
Okay.
but this is just a salt component. You already feel it, or taste it.
Well, cool shout out to Frank. You seem like a really good guy, so I know he's a really good guy. So shout out to him.
I usually would put these in a blender because I like a loose sauce, but it was a big can of tomatoes. So I'm just breaking them up with a potato masher. I didn't want to make a big mess all over the kitchen, so I gotta be safe. I do want to leave it a few chunks, so you know, it gives that rustic look and it sticks nice to the pasta. I think it will look good when it's in. I'm just gonna bring this up to
The beauty of you, Marco, that I've noticed is that you pay attention to detail, and yeah. So all of this is gonna then go into the sauce, right?
Yeah, we're gonna drop our meat in there. I'm gonna pour my beef. This beautiful beef stock that we got. I'm just gonna hit it with this. This is definitely gonna give it a nice flavor too. I'm just gonna bring this up to a boil and then I'm gonna pour the meat back in. Start dropping my meat.
Wait a minute, silly question. This is the meal that he was making in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I remember you said that already. I'm sorry, man.
That's cool.
Because this is the scene where he goes, not too much. Did he say not too much something? He said, no, I'm not. No, Paulie, I'm not putting too much something in there.
Too
He
much
goes,
onions in the sauce.
yeah. He said, but you gotta have the pork.
Yeah, that's the
You gotta have the pork. That's the flavor. See, we've watched Goodfellas too many times. You can tell both of us.
I love that movie.
That scene just sticks out to me.
We'll be right back.
All right, guys, so it's been about 2.5 hours. Our sauce has been simmering on the stove. It's looking good. The meat's starting to break apart, getting soft. So it's been a long day. We definitely poured ourselves a stiff one. Cheers. So now we're gonna roll out our meatballs, which is the last step to drop in our sauce.
So here I have some ground beef, pork and veal. You know, mixing with some breadcrumbs, some parsley, some garlic. You know, salt and pepper. Some grated cheese. Just gonna roll these out and lay them out on the pan. Usually people they fry their meatballs and they add them in, but I want to kind of just boil them up and add them in at the last like 30 minutes or so before the sauce is done, just so they can stay nice and soft. I don't want to go too big, like a medium size. I feel like about that size is good, you know. Eat like 3-4 each of these per person. I'm kind of upset right now, you know. Game 7's not looking too good. It's the second quarter and we're down by like 20 points. But I feel like halftime, you know, maybe the guys will go in the locker room and and crank it up, you know, and come back out and annihilate the Pacers. We can't go out like this. You know, we've rolled out all our meatballs. Now we're just gonna wait a little while, and we'll drop them in the sauce. So I got my pasta water going. We're gonna salt that in a little bit. We got our sauce going about 2.5 hours, almost 3. You can see the meat starting to get tender. It's breaking up. It's getting soft. That's what we want. We got our meatballs rolled up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and salt my pasta water. So when you salt in pasta water, you're gonna give it a good generous amount of salt. We say it should taste like the ocean. It's not gonna be too salty. It's gonna, you know, give the pasta a good flavor. So now I got that going. We're just gonna bring that up to a boil. Once that starts boiling, we know we're ready to drop our pasta. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop these meatballs in the sauce. I know you guys are probably not, he didn't fry them first, whatever, but I like doing it this way. We know that when they're done and ready, they float to the top. So that's another trick. When your meatballs float to the top, you know they're done. So I'm just dropping these in the sauce. I wish you guys could see this. It smells amazing. The smell in here is just ridiculous. All these flavors are coming together from the meat, that fond that we built at the bottom of the pot, that deglaze from the wine. This is gonna be insane. So this is a good timing. We got our pasta water going. So I feel like once it'll both be done at the same time. So once our pasta is done, the sauce should be done too. So we're just gonna let that go, and we're gonna wait for our water to come up to a boil, and then we're gonna drop our pasta. We'll be right back. Our pasta is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and strain it. It's nice and al dente. Just gonna pass it through our strainer. It's ready to go. Our sauce is done. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just toss the pasta with a little bit of sauce together to get that incorporated. I'll put my pan on the stove. I'm just going to take my ladle and drop a little bit of that sauce in there. I like rigatoni because it comes together well with the sticks with the sauce really good, you know? That's looking good right there. Sometimes if the sauce is too loose, you can always save a little bit of that pasta water that's very starchy. It'll help it thicken up and stick together too, you know. But our sauce has a good consistency, so we didn't need any of that pasta water in there. So I'm just tossing the sauce with the pasta. It's looking good. We're ready to serve.
Hello, and listen, we're at the end of the show. Listen, before we get into this, I'm wearing my Knicks, Knicks hoodie. Knicks just got eliminated. It was a hell of a season, and I gotta rock this because I'm so proud of them. They lost to the Pacers, but we all know that we was fully healthy. Pacers would have been done in 4. So it's all good. We're gonna come back strong next year. But at the same time, I am hungry. My man Marco did his thing.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, that's a meal.
Thank you for having me on the show again. I appreciate
Marco,
it.
let me have
Thank
it,
you,
man.
Marcus. Thank you, Lane.
All right. All right, this is a dish?
This is it.
All right, let me try it out.
Let me know what you think.
This has been an amazing, incredible smell. This is good. This is really good. Damn, this is really good, y'all. I've been known to eat the whole meal on camera, so before I do it, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Sure, yeah.
For one thing, this took a minute to do.
Yeah, it did.
It's called a Sunday sauce.
Yeah.
I see why now.
Yeah.
Because you probably go to church, come home, and the sauce is still going.
Yeah.
Why is it so good?
It's all those flavors just coming together.
You had so many flavors in here, man.
I put love into everything that I do, so.
This was layers. From the onions to the peppers to the meats to the on the bottom of the pot mixing in from what the meats left when they were seared. So amazing. And let us know again, how long you been cooking?
For more than 15 years.
Because you look young.
Yeah.
You look young.
I'm 37.
Okay, so yeah, you've been cooking for a minute. It's been an amazing meal. Let me ask you a question. Because we did talk, and you do cook a lot of different things. Tell me something that you, to this day, struggle with to cook.
To be honest with you, rice. I can't get it 100% all the time.
Why is that? I think
sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. You know?
Wow.
Sometimes I add a little too much water, sometimes a little less water, and I can't get. Sometimes I hit it on the note, like I get it on the spot, but sometimes I can't.
So rice is a challenge because you're not the first person to come on the show and say rice.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. So rice. I'm sorry about that. This is just so good. And you got a good amount of spice to it, but not overbearing.
No. Yeah.
Can anybody make this?
I believe so. Yeah, anybody can make it.
Just a lot of patience.
Yeah, you just gotta have the patience.
I'm gonna try this because this was so amazing. I know you probably said it already, but who inspired you again to start cooking?
My mom watching in the kitchen, and you know, like Italian cuisine is just a big staple. You know, like, especially in New York, like pizza is like that's what we're known for. So
yeah.
Definitely the culture has a lot to do with it. You know. That's why I just love Italian cuisine.
When you put the meatballs in, I was like, okay, are they gonna cook well enough into the sauce? But they actually did.
Yeah, they
actually cooked perfectly. Yeah. I thought I was a master of making meatballs, but
it's that bond, yeah.
They held together solid. They're still solid. And
are they tender?
They're tender. Yeah. And no, listen, they're cooked fully through.
Yeah, they
because
are.
you kind of. I don't know, like you said, some people fry them.
Yeah.
And so I was really curious how this was going to turn out when you just put them in there, and they came out perfectly.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This was a long meal. We have a house full of people, so this took so long. The aroma was getting everybody hungry. We was all looking at each other like we're hungry. Marco, the pressure was on Marco to hurry up and cook this meal, but he stayed the course. Let it go its distance. Everything worked perfect. Let's go with some of the meats you use. So
I use beef short ribs.
Okay.
I use pork country style ribs. I use veal ossobuco.
Okay.
With the veal shanks.
Now, I'm sorry.
Sweet and Italian sausages.
Okay.
And the meatballs.
Now, if you don't know this, in that scene in Goodfellas, when they were in the prison, this meal was that meal. And I'm kind of slow. It is on a Sunday. And I'm looking like, wait a minute, I know that meal. And the scene with Paulie doing his little razor cutting, and his boy is like, yo, you know, I'm not putting too much. What did he say? I'm not putting too much.
Too many onions.
I'm not putting too many onions. So this is that meal. This is amazing. I don't know if I can do this. And just so you know, the meats was not Stop and Shop. Marco went all out.
To the butcher.
He went to the butcher.
You got the best cuts of meat.
Yes, yes.
Fine,
We're looking to get you back on.
we use good tomatoes, you know.
Yeah.
Alta Cucina, if you work in the food industry, you know that those are like top notch. Those are the best.
I think the beauty of this, it was really worth the wait. It took a minute, but it was designed to take a minute. It was designed to take a long time. You guys don't know, but it took, just the sauce itself took like 2.5 hours.
3, 4, yeah.
Oh yeah, 3. Well, yeah. I'm behind the camera, so I lost track, but it took like 3 to 4. But it's so worth it. What else do you cook good?
I don't want to brag.
Brag. Listen. I want.
I put love into everything I do. So far, I haven't had any complaints.
Yeah, this is so good.
People love my roast pork shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah, they love my turkey. I make a good turkey. We call it pavo chong.
Okay.
So I make that really good.
So are you a Thanksgiving kind of cooking a whole Thanksgiving meal or just a turkey?
Everything. The whole
All
meal.
All right. So, and where do you work again?
I work at Best Pizza.
Okay. So
again, guys, come on down. Best Pizza. We got 2 locations in Brooklyn. Check it out. Best Pizza.
There you go.
Our main location, 33 Havermeyer Street. Our second location, 800 Grand Street. You can find me there. I'm there Monday through Fridays, 800 Grand Street. Please, guys, come on down. The pizza's really good. You know, everything, we make everything with love. Everything is, you know, we do everything with our hands. From the dough, we slice our own pepperoni. We make our own mozzarella. Everything's fresh, you know. We get the curds, we boil it, we take our time. You know, we salt the curds, we blend the cheese together. We do everything with our hands, you know. Like everything's fresh.
Well,
You guys, from the sandwiches, you know, we grind our own chicken. You know, we make our own meatballs. We do everything, you know. Everything's top notch. Everything's traditional, like in the old country. So.
Well, listen. Once again, we thanked her before, but I want to thank Elaine again for finding you.
Thank you.
She's been doing that for a minute, so much props to her. Listen, we got to talk off camera about getting you back on.
All right, thank you.
You need your own kind of show. You got the looks, you got the smile for it, and you got the patience to cook. So, you know, like I tell a lot of people who come on, just allow my platform to be your launching pad. So maybe you might, you know, so we'll probably get you on one more time, and then you probably take off and do your own thing, because you got the look, you got it all, and you cook. I mean, you don't look like you cook, but you throw down, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, but listen.
They say bad boys moving silence.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So listen, but she no longer wants to cook for you, Marco.
This is what you do.
He showed us what you do.
This is what
he handling my plate. Get out of here. But no, he really you know, I didn't even try this. It's short rib, right?
Yeah, that's the short rib.
Hold on, before we go, let's go. This was the main thing that everybody was looking at.
The beef short rib.
Oh, this is just so tender. Oh my man, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Damn. That's so good it don't make no sense. That is really amazing.
Thank you.
My brother.
I appreciate that.
All jokes aside, you cook.
Thank you.
You cook. So listen, we're gonna go. But she only wants to cook with you. Marco today, Lower Manhattan, shows us what you do. We're out of here, people.
Thank you.